Hello and welcome to All 32. My name is Arabia, and here we talk all things football. Now, I know it's been a while. But we back. All the jokes, I was enjoying them. Okay, very funny, hilarious. You guys got your jokes off. Okay, I'm not in hiding. I was very much sick, still very much sick, but I'm back because, I'm a woman of the people. And I aim to please. Okay, we have a lot to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. There was a lot that needs to be discussed from over the weekend. The Eagles whooped on the Commanders 55 to 23. It wasn't even close. They really low-broed us. BTA in front of the whole class. It wasn't even like, okay, we'll get there because I'm jumping the gun. All right, so where I want to start is I thought I would be way more happy to be here at this point. Like I was saying this whole time, if we lose, it's fine because I'm happy to I'm happy to have made it as far as we did. I don't feel that way. Surprisingly, I feel very much like, what the fuck was that? I'm sorry. I'm aiming for this to be a profanity-free channel. What the heck was that? What was that? Maybe I would have felt more happy to be here if it was a good game. Like we played one heck of a game. We did not play one heck of a game. And people have been lying to me in my DMs like, oh, great season. You guys played one heck of a game. No, we didn't. We did not play one heck of a game. That was a horrible, sloppy, undisciplined game. Another thing, I don't want to hear any of the excuses. I've heard way too many excuses, especially with the refs. And missed calls, this, that, and the third. If it was a perfectly called game, the Eagles still would have won. The refs did not move the needle for the Commanders or the Eagles at all. The Eagles had this game before the game even started. And they tried to tell us. They tried to tell us last game, listen, if Jalen Hurts was in, we would have scored 50 points. The reason why we didn't was because Kenny Pickett was in. And I was like, well, Kenny Pickett still played a good game. You're acting like Kenny Pickett came in and stunk the place up. Like he played a good game. If Jalen Hurts is still in, you guys would have still lost. But that's not true. As we clearly see, Jalen Hurts was in and they scored 50 plus BTA in front of the nation, in front of the world. I saw this conspiracy theory from Invisible Insider Stats that before the game even started, there was something suspicious happening with the refs in this Eagles-Commanders game. So the head referee, Sean Hokuli, since 2021, the Eagles are now 7-0 when he's the head referee, and the Commanders were on the losing side of two of those games. So if you have a ref who's the head ref and they're 7-0 when calling these games, is that a conspiracy? My answer is no. Have you ever stopped to consider that the Eagles have just been better than the Commanders since 2021? That's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched. Think about the Eagles since 2021. Think about the Commanders since 2021. Okay? I don't think this is anything to look into. I don't think we need to follow the breadcrumbs to see about the referee schedule, and it's not that. Okay? Like, let's not try to pat ourselves and like be like soft and cuddly about this loss and try to like pin it on. No, we were just outgunned. We brought a spork to a gunfight. All right. I also don't want to hear flat out like, oh, the Commanders gave the game away. In some regard, we did. Three turnovers, but also the Eagles snatched it because it takes a really good team to capitalize off another team's mistakes. They scored a touchdown off every single one of those turnovers. That's not just us giving it away. That's them snatching it and being like, okay, if the ball is ours, we're going to convert it to 6. Okay, 6 points. Not 3, 6. And then the extra point. All right? So, it's two things can be true at once. And I know I say that a lot, but it's true. We did give it away, but also the Eagles really did snatch it. Now, the Eagles are headed to New Orleans to face the Kansas City Chiefs. It should be a really interesting game. I personally would love to see NFL history be made and to see the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat. It's never been done before. If you like sports, you really like competition. You love these moments of greatness, no matter what the sport is, hockey, golf, I mean, that's why certain people just cross over all sports. Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Kobe Bryant. It's that greatness that you can just admire, especially if you just really, really love sports. So I would love to see a Chiefs three-peat. I think that would be really, really cool. But at the same time, I don't have a problem with the Eagles. Like, I know Eagles fans get a bad rep. I've said on this channel previously, I think Eagles fans are cool. I don't have any bad experience with Eagles fans. I think they just go hard for their team. Excuse me. I think they just go hard for their team, and I respect that. And I'm not a sensitive person when it comes to people going hard for their team. So, I hope it's a good game. If Philly wins, good for them. It makes the NFC East look even better. We'll get to that later. In our Have a Seat segment. But for now, I think all we can do is assume that the Chiefs are going to do what they've been doing over the past few years, which is getting the job done. It's hard to go against the Chiefs when they just show over and over again they don't care the obstacle that's in their way. But this is a pretty big obstacle. The Eagles are a pretty big obstacle. This is probably the best Eagles team. Sorry, guys. This is probably the best Eagles team that we've seen ever, maybe? Can I say that? This is the best Eagles team that we've ever seen? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. I mean, this is a formidable opponent. This is like a Goliath that the Chiefs are going up against. Okay, it's really no joke. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We're gonna just do these every once in a while, and all the commercials that are here are products that I really support. So don't ever think that I'm putting this up here for just money or whatever, because it never gave that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's going on, y'all? Back at it again. World Tour, EVO bid, but it's the best product, not just in the city, not just in America, but around the world. We back on tour. First was Colombia, April. We in France now. As you see, the Eiffel Tower is behind me. So if you're gonna have the Eiffel Tower, I gotta have something just as iconic. The beer box filled with some sneaky goodies, little infinity stones. But some of my favorites. If I'm gonna come somewhere, I'm gonna finesse the situation. I'm in France, the city of love. Ladies love it here. So, EBO beer butter, get your products, get your butters, get your washes, and take your travel. That's all I got to say.
Welcome back. I want to watch a little film, just a little bit, just a few short clips, specifically of our left tackle, Brandon Coleman. And if you've been following me for long enough, since probably like September, I would say, I've been posting film on Brandon Coleman because I think he was a hit in the draft. He's out of TCU. And for a rookie quarterback to also be paired with a rookie left tackle, because Cornelius Lucas was dealing with injury. He's a veteran. But to get those both a quarterback and a left tackle in the draft is it's huge. It's huge. It just accelerates your timeline for success. And so I think we hit in the draft with rookie left tackle Brandon Coleman. However, it's levels to this rookie. It's really levels to this. And I think I was really excited because I saw him go up against Trey Hendrickson. And when he went up against Trey Hendrickson, who's one of the best in the league in his position, I was like, oh, okay, got a little something to him. And not to say that he doesn't, but them Eagles over there made him look elementary, junior varsity, peewee, flag football, if you will. Okay, like it just, and it's normal, it's normal. I'm not saying I want any roster changes. I'm just saying, we have to develop these guys up a little bit. So let's just take a look, see here. Okay, so let's just look and see here. Left tackle Brandon Coleman is right here. And right here is a known terrorist who has no regard for human life. Let's see what happens. Oh my gosh. I mean, look at this. That's bullying. He's being bullied. Let's see what happens next. Excuse me. I mean, just mind you, because I went back and watched the All-22. If you go back and watch film from this game, the first play the Commanders had, this happened. And I think two people from that Philly D line broke free. I think one from the interior and one off the edge. It's too easy. It's too easy. The game within the game, ladies and gentlemen. Trench warfare. I mean, this is exactly what happened. This 55-23 score is exactly what happens when you get beat in the trenches. Not to say that we didn't get beat at every other position group except for quarterback and maybe, a couple others. But when you get beat in the trenches like this, real bad, yeah, that's when the 55-23 comes. It doesn't matter what happens at the other positions if you can't win it in the trenches, which we were doomed to fail from the beginning. Yeah, this is exactly what happens. This was really, really bad. I've seen a few people calling for Joe Whitt Jr. to get fired. And I've got to say, I'm confused. I'm confused. Why are we calling to fire Joe Whitt Jr.? My question to all of you who have been saying, let's fire Joe Whitt Jr. is who did you expect to come in as defensive coordinator and do a better job? What would a better job have looked for you? I know in an ideal situation, we wouldn't have given up 55 points in an NFC Championship game. But considering where we were last year, considering who we have on the roster this year, like there's only so much we can do with the material that we have. And it's a miracle that we've been able to do what we have been on the defense for the past season. It's not a coaching problem. That's what I'm saying. It's not a coaching problem. It's not a Joe Whitt Jr. problem. It's just not. It's a personnel problem. We are still rebuilding. And that's maybe the problem that we've had since we've over-accomplished. Now we think the standard is up here. The standard is still very much like slow walking it. We just happen to overshoot in a few different positions. But that doesn't mean that overall we're just where we need to be. And now we need to expect every year from now on, we need to expect Super Bowl. No, that's not it at all. That's not it at all. I personally would like to see everybody on this coaching staff come back. Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Whitt Jr. I'm a fan of all of them. At this point, I had my criticisms of Cliff Kingsbury. I was very irritated, for him because there were a lot of games in the middle of the season where I feel like he wasn't really switching things up and he wasn't really pivoting. And in that one press conference, someone actually brought it up to him. They said, do you know that there's a trend that happens towards the end of the season, X, Y, and Z? And he was like, no, I didn't even know that. Then got his act together. So not to say that, pressure works, but sometimes it does. Sometimes you just have to bring things to people's attention. And I think it worked. And I think he really turned things around. So I'm a fan of Cliff Kingsbury so far. Joe Whitt Jr., Dan Quinn, I want all of them to come back. So no, I don't think we should fire Joe Whitt Jr. Just a bit ridiculous to me. Excuse me. We have a few unrestricted free agents coming up that we need to deal with. We have about $88 million in cap space, third most in the NFL. Let's just go over some of these UFAs that we have and see who we want to keep, who we want to give away, and all those things. We also have 8 draft picks, okay? So we have a lot to work with. Mind you, we still want to leave some room and options, not just for the draft, but for free agency as well, because some people have their eyes on T. Higgins and other people out there who we just maybe want to use as vets to make our roster better. So we have De'Ami Brown coming up. We have to figure out what we're going to do with him. I would like to bring De'Ami Brown back. There's also Olamide Zaccheaus. Olamide or Olamide? I don't know. Zaccheaus. He also has to be dealt with in some regard. I'm okay with letting him go. Me personally, I don't feel the need to bring him back. But he did great for us. Noah Brown, I also am okay with letting him go. Zach Ertz, I would like to bring back. Him and Jaden Daniels have a very obvious connection between Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin. They're kind of 1 and 2 for Jaden, but Jaden prefers Zach Ertz, especially in the red zone. He's a large target. I think it just makes sense to bring him back. Excuse me. Now, 2 kickers, Austin Seibert and Zane Gonzalez. If Austin Seibert is going to continue to deal with injury, we're going to have to bring another kicker in anyway. I'm cool with just letting Austin Seibert go because when he's healthy, he's one of the best kickers in the league, like very clearly. But that's a big if. If he's not even able to be on the field, the best ability is availability. So if he's not going to be available, then let's just cut our losses and find someone else. Zane Gonzalez, I don't know, whatever. I can keep taking my leading. Tressway is always a yes for me. Always a yes for me. Tressway is one of those consistent guys in the locker room who just brings stability, consistency. He seems like a good guy, cool guy. And he does a great job, at his job. He hasn't had to do it very much lately this season. He hasn't had to do too much. But when you bring him in, he does what he needs to do. And he had that really, really cool trick play against the Eagles. So that was really cool. I'm always for bringing Tressway back, 1,000%. Dante Fowler Jr., take him or leave him for me. Cleveland Farrell, no. Bobby Wagner, yes. I would like for him to come back. Benjamin St. Juice. We got to have a conversation about Benjamin St. Juice because I feel like there's a middle ground with BSJ where he's better than people are criticizing him for, but he's not so good that I feel like he needs to be like our lockdown corner, So unless we're replacing him with someone who's going to be immediately available, let's just keep him until we bolster that position group a little bit more. Does that make sense? Or how do you feel? You tell me how you feel about BSJ. He's one of those polarizing figures. Noah Igbenegene, I'll keep him. And Jeremy Chen, I thought was going to do a bit better than he did last game, but he's one of my favorite tacklers. He's one of our harder hitters. I would like to see him come back. I think we have enough cap space to do it, depending on free agency and who we're looking to get. But keeping 4 or 5 of these guys, I think is realistic. I don't know the length of their contract that they're going to want, but I think it's pretty realistic. Okay, now one of my favorite segments, Have a Seat. Okay, sponsored by or brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the go-to ticketing platform for live entertainment with effortless access to entertainment, teams, venues, and shows. Audiences of every kind trust SeatGeek for their ticketing needs, which brings us to our segment, Have a Seat. Someone said in my comments recently that the NFC East is I'm not going to say the word because this is a clean program, but someone said that it was a not good division and that anyone in the NFC East has an easy ticket to the playoffs and an easy ticket to the NFC Championship game because of how easy our division is. Now, I might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but it was only NFC East teams in the NFC Championship game, okay? It was an NFC East team that took down the number 1 seed in the NFC, okay? The number 2 team in the NFC was an NFC East team, okay? I'm not exactly sure how you can say that a team that made it, 2 teams from the same division that made it to the title game of their entire conference is from a bad division. There are only 4 teams in a division. If half of them are in the title game, I don't see how that means that division is bad. Is it just me? What do you think? I'm not saying that the NFC East is the best division in football, but how could it possibly be the worst division in football if half of its team is in the title game? Okay, an easy ticket. How is it an easy ticket when you still got to get through? You still have to go through seeding. You have to still go through whoever is number 1 in the conference. You still have to go through the steps to get there. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? I can see if you said the NFC South. The NFC South, you have a point. You absolutely have a point with the NFC South. But the NFC East? Let me know what you think. Do you think the NFC East is a bad division because of the Cowboys and the Giants? Let's see how that goes next year. Because usually, I feel like this was a fluke year for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are usually a really good regular season team. And so this year, because they had a down year, it would be like Eagles, in this case now the Commanders and the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of these teams are going to compete in the future. The Giants, maybe we'll see what they do in the draft. But the NFC East very, very well could be a very competitive division. It's just the Cowboys and the Giants are like a couple paces away from back being a very competitive regular season team again. I just don't see it. Let me know what you think, though. Welcome back to All 32. I want to talk about the UFL. And a lot of you said that you guys are football fans. I think I put a poll out a few months ago asking, are you an NFL fan? Are you just a fan of your team and you don't watch any other teams? Are you a fan of a player and you'll follow that player wherever they go? A lot of you guys said that you are football fans. So if you are actually football fans, then you would really, really enjoy the UFL. There's some great football happening in the UFL. And believe it or not, it's an extremely innovative league to the point where the NFL borrows a lot of ideas from the UFL. The UFL isn't bogged down by tradition. That's kind of the drawback of the NFL. The NFL has been alive and active for so many decades that they like what they like. They like what they like. They stick to what they know, and there's kind of a fear or distaste for change. And so the UFL doesn't have that problem. They're just experimenting. They're using new technology. They're using new rules, and it's still very much the football that you and I know and love. But sometimes it just works a little bit better because we can try new things. So anyway, UFL season is right around the corner. I love spring ball. The season opener for the DC Defenders is March 30th at 3 p.m. They take on the defending champions, the Birmingham Stallions, at home at Audi Field. Audi Field is absolutely amazing. If you ask me, Audi Field is the best field in the DC area, okay? Better than Northwest Stadium, yes. If you haven't gone to Audi Field, if you haven't been to a DC Defenders game, please sign up. They actually have season tickets offered right now. They have a kids package for just $20. And what you get with those $20, you get pre-game and post-game on-field experiences. They'll give you some cool things like a lanyard and a keychain and things like that, a drawstring bag, a hat, other goodies like that. But the coolest part is you get a kids part of the season ticket for just $20 more, and you get cool on-field experiences throughout the season. So let's say it's Fan Appreciation Day. With that season ticket, you might get to come on the field before the game or after the game, and just cool experiences like that. So the UFL is around the corner. There are 8 teams, 8 different cities. Check out your local UFL team if you have one. And, it's really good football being played. So I would highly encourage it. Now, I present to you Fanned Out, brought to you by Fanatics. It's a segment where a fan gets to send me a DM. Keep it short, but talk about your team. You can say something that you're happy about, that you're upset about. You can rant, you can cry, you can scream, you can yell. This is your time to fan out on All 32, okay? And my very first fanned out guest is a Chicago Bears fan, and he has something to say. Maybe it's to other Chicago Bear fans. Let's check it out.
Chicago fucking Bears, man. Every year some shit, but I'm going to make this very short. While I respect the fact that you are going through the hiring process the proper way, unlike the Patriots, while you are leaving no stone unturned as you try to find a head coach, why the fuck are you even talking to Brian Flores? After what he did to Tua, why the fuck would you want him around another young quarterback? Because you're the Chicago Bears and you know how to ruin every good thing that's ever happened to you.
Well, Nick, tell us how you really feel. I mean, we have a lot to talk about as far as this coaching carousel goes, because there's a certain Tampa Bay Buccaneers coordinator who I think we need to shine the light on, because he's been out here wilding on the island, okay? I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But next video, we will go through the coaching carousel. We'll also talk about Chiefs-Bills. We'll talk about this upcoming Chiefs-Eagles matchup in the Super Bowl. But we definitely do need to start talking more again about the coaching carousel, because there's a lot going on. We need to talk about Cowboys. I'm on y'all tail, pause. Yeah. Schottenheimer. You know what? Yeah. Do that. Great idea. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back. And until next time, take care.